Hello, friends. So I'm here to talk you through a very brief refresher on what is included in a scenic drafting package for a theatrical design. Okay, so we have three basic types of plates that you would have in your scenic drafting package. Your first plate is always your ground plan, and we'll talk about the ground plan in a minute. Your second plate is the section view, so that's the slice down the center of the drafting, looking to the left or the right. Section view, that's what you need to create for your lighting designer so they can do their work. And then after that, you have elevations, and elevations are detail drawings of anything that your shop is going to build. Okay, so let's look at our ground plan first. Here is the ground plan for the production of Lysistrata that we've already talked about in class. You'll remember all of this stuff from when you did your initial drafting package scavenger hunt, okay? When we look at the ground plan, first, like all drafting, it has a lovely title block over on the side that includes all of my information, all of the information about the other designers, the sheet label, of course, ground plan, what Vectorworks file this is, scale, and what sheet number it is, okay? It also has a little drawing label that says ground plan down at the bottom, but the most important information on your ground plan is going to be all of these detail labels, okay? So there are a couple of different kinds of labeling going on. There's just leader line labels, which are saying things like, this is where the paper lanterns are, here's the string lights, right? There are these all caps layer labels, which are the names of my scenic elements. So my scenic units, I named each of them. So I call this scenic unit the boxcar, right? I call this the balloon drop banner. Each of these labeled scenic units also has elevations attached to it. So if an element of your set design has an elevation, not only will it be labeled in my ground plan, it also is going to have one of these little circular drawing labels. So this drawing label is telling me that this boxcar is Unit A on sheet 3 of the drafting. So the top number is going to be what the label, the drawing label, will say, and the bottom number is what sheet of the drafting package you can find it on, okay? So we'll go look at our boxcar in a moment, but I'm going to just scroll down. This should all be familiar, right? So I have a couple of other things that are dimensioned or labeled accordingly, but in general, it is name of the unit, drawing label, drawing number or drawing label letter in this case, and then what sheet I can find that on, okay, in the elevations. So that's my ground plan layer. Then my second layer is going to be the section. My second sheet of my drafting package will be a section view. So this is a center line section. If you go back to your first sheet, you can see I have this section notated because I used Vectorworks to draw the section view. It came with a section line defined so that when I'm looking at that drawing, I can tell exactly what the section is looking at, okay? So there it is. It's like cut off the corner of my boxcar unit. It's cut off the corner of my stairs. Everything else is relatively whole. And then I have my seating out here in the house, and the heights of all of those scenic elements are shown in the section view. Then on my third plate, all of these drawing A, so all of this boxcar is come through on plate 3. I have a little 3D sketch, and then I have elevations for each side of the boxcar so that it's easy and clear what needs to be built for the boxcar, okay? Next is going to be sheet 4, and on sheet 4 I have some detail elevations for individual rolling units. They're labeled that they're platforms on aircasters. They're labeled and notated other information about each one, and then each has its drawing letter, its name, and then what view we're looking at. So top view, front view, and side view are all drawn. And this is just the same way that we do any sort of drafting where we want to make sure we align our elevations. Top, front, side, just like an orthographic projection. So that is those 3 units on my 4th sheet, okay? Um, this is sheet 5. So sheet 5 has a couple of other elements that are also built. Sheet 6 I never drafted, and then sheet 7 is a scene by scene with a little thumbnail of the ground plan for that scene, as well as a quick render of what that scene might look like. So that's my scenic drafting package for Lysistrata. Other people's are not going to look exactly like mine. But the most important elements you have to remember is sheet 1 is going to be a labeled ground plan, sheet 2 is a section, and then after that, we're talking about detailed elevations for the things that the shop needs to build. If the shop isn't building it, it does not need an elevation. If the shop is building it, it does. And so you would have your specific details about those individual scenic units. Great. Thank you. I'm now going to split off into 2 videos, one about Vectorworks and the other one about SketchUp. So I will see you soon. Bye.